pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Identify to discuss waiving second and third reading and prior approval requirement of ordinance number 53, regulation regarding off-highway vehicles. Discuss and consider regulation regarding off-highway vehicle ordinance. Mr. McGowan, you offered an email shortly after our last meeting. Would you like to offer some suggestions or?
So, thank you. I got that email, and I guess I just didn't know that we were going to be acting on it, so I figured because ordinance passage requires a specific process, that we should go ahead and out of an abundance of caution, we're actually still doing our due diligence, restart the process, go ahead and pass it in the form that it's required to. So to pass an ordinance, there's several different ways you can go about it. I requested some guidance from the Attorney General's office on the most efficient way to go about it, because it was clear that everybody was pretty much done discussing this and wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. The process we're using is not the one that you normally would like to use as a rule, okay? Because of the way Iowa Code is written, the default is that there are multiple readings and multiple considerations of an ordinance before it is finally passed. The procedure we are going to use, and we have set up to use, allows us to bypass these concerns, these procedural safeguards. The reason we're comfortable in doing that is because we've already discussed this issue. It seems like there's a majority on the board that is going to vote for it in the substantially final form, or the final form it is now in. We have had several discussions about ATV ordinances, and it appears there's a majority in favor of doing this, of allowing this. So the way that we've done this is, in order to have it passed at one meeting, you have to publish, according to the requirements in Iowa Code, not less than 4, not more than 20 days before considering this. That has been done. It is in the paper in this form. Then, at a meeting, you must waive the second and third readings by a majority vote of the board, because 3 readings are typically required of an ordinance. In other words, you, the supervisors, have to look at it, read it, think about it, and then the next step is that normally there are 3 considerations where it has to be voted on 3 times. This can also be waived. The procedure we're going to use today, if you gentlemen care to pass this, would be that since we've already noticed it up, or that's how we would say it, or we've posted it, published it, we've got that requirement taken care of. You are reading it now, you are sitting here reading it. You don't have to sit there and read it out loud, but this is your first reading. After you've had a chance to read it, if you'd like to waive via a majority vote the second and third readings of that ordinance, then you can do that. And then after you've done that, if you are still of the opinion you'd like to pass this ordinance, you can then vote on it. And after you vote on it or consider it, as the code mentions, then you can waive your second and third considerations of it. If you do that, since the ordinance states it is effective upon publication, then we will publish the passed ordinance and we will be done with it. And that will be an ordinance that is now law in the county. Okay? Y'all can look at it and discuss it amongst yourselves. I would like to kind of just go through what changes I've made before we kind of start really considering it, just to point those out. When the board acted on this last time, again, I wasn't apprised of the fact that we were actually going to be voting on it. I don't know if there was some miscommunication there, if that was on me, and I apologize. Otherwise, it's the sort of thing that happens, but that ordinance at that point was what I would consider to be draft form. I was pretty comfortable with it, but I wasn't ready to go ahead and publish it and pass it. So there were a few things in there that I wanted to change. There were some formatting issues, make sure some section numbers matched up. I also added a few things. So just to go quickly through what I've added and changed. Just in order, I added a little section under section 2 definitions that basically says that these definitions are supposed to be the same thing that are in Iowa code. Making sure those definitions match up is the easiest way to make sure that there's no confusion as to what we meant when it comes time to enforce this ordinance. I'd also make sure that if those definitions are updated in the future by Iowa code, then we don't need to come back and update this again. Just because that section of the Iowa code is one of the ones that changes the most often. Next, we have under D, in section 4 restrictions, once again, that section 321.384, that's the part of the code that describes the requirement for headlights. Again, we just want to make sure we got everything matched up. 2, under restrictions here, section 4 sub 2, this is something that Jason had mentioned, and this is something that I went ahead and looked at again, and I know that, there has been discussion on this, and I went ahead and added in the language about a valid permit to carry weapons, so that no one's rights to carry a firearm while on an ATV, OHV, etc. are infringed upon, and simply added in that sentence as well, said permit to carry weapons shall be kept on the physical person or in the possession of the operator and shall be displayed to law enforcement officers upon valid request. That's in there just to make sure we don't even get into some situation where somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing while carrying a firearm well on an OHV, and then we get into a situation where there's a question as to whether they are required to have that permit on them or there's some overlap. I don't think that's likely, but I just wanted that in there. We've got the sentence in there about a non-ambulatory person, just to make sure that we don't have any issues with handicapped folks not being able to use an OHV, etc. Going down further, and then we have exempt vehicles. There, that's your farm section. I did not change that. We have age restrictions. That's just to allow somebody under the age of 18 who's taken the proper class to operate one. A saving clause that basically say, hey, if part of this is unconstitutional, invalid, or a court otherwise throws it out, the rest of it isn't necessarily the same. A repealer, that's just kind of a catch-all in case there's something in the ordinances that previously might conflict or be seen in conflict that will be superseded by this. They're repealed. And that's pretty much all I've got. I also changed the title of this ordinance to off-highway vehicle, because off-highway vehicle is a catch-all term that catches and describes ATVs, off-highway vehicles, etc. So it covers three-wheelers, four-wheelers, gators, etc. All those things that fall within those definitions you see there. So with that, that's kind of my spiel on kind of review day. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
And since the action taken at our previous meeting accomplished nothing or does nothing, this is restarting the process.
I agree. Legally speaking, what happened at the last meeting is not an effective action of this board. It did not pass or create an enforceable ordinance. And I realize that kind of from the point of view of this board, a lot of what we're doing here is taking an action that allows people to have freedom to do something that they've already been doing, and freedom to do something that they want to do. I think that's important. From my point of view as the county's chief law enforcement official and its legal representative, I wanted this ordinance to be drawn up in a way that if something bad were to happen, and frankly, when something bad happens, we'll have an enforceable ordinance if somebody is acting in violation of it. They just had a fatality over a line involved one of these vehicles. Really sad story, and I don't know what is or is going to happen, if anything is going to happen there, but it's just a reminder that when we pass ordinances like this, we want to make sure we have our I's dotted and our T's crossed. So.
This thing that just jumped out at me is the approval we gave didn't have these changes, and what was published has these changes.
Right. So you do need to approve it.
Considering waiving readings, it would be on the language that he just covered, because that's how it was published. It's a difference between what was previously considered.
Thank you for pointing that out.
So first consideration, if interested, would be to discuss or to waive second, third readings and prior approval requirements of the ordinance.
Yeah, and I would suggest that you waive the second and third readings and then consider it, vote on it, and then waive your second and third considerations.
So vote on the ordinance first and then wait considerations to me.
Vote on the readings, or, yeah, vote on waiving the readings, vote on the ordinance, then vote on the second and third considerations of it.
By definition, the second and third readings would need to be at separate meetings, so we're waiving it, that it needs to be the second and third. Separate meetings, but we still have to vote.
Yes.
Or give approval to the second and third reading, even if we waive
Do that
different meetings.
before we vote on the ordinance, we do that.
That's
Waiving this,
sorry.
the process, you considering it a different meeting. With that vote, we're not voting on the ordinance, we're waiving the process, of considering it a different meeting.
Correct. Correct. That's my impression.
I'd make a motion to waive those.
Support. Jones offers a motion, and Mr. Homers offers support to waive the second and third reading requirements. Does that also include prior approval requirements, or we're moving that?
That's the next one.
Okay.
Or you, then you vote on
Further discussion concerning the waiving of the second and third readings. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Next, we would give initial consideration of the ordinance that was already published.
And in effect, this will be your vote on the ordinance.
I'd make a motion to approve that ordinance.
Support. Consideration of ordinance number 53 as presented as published. Further discussion? Ordinance required roll call or just resolution?
Resolutions, I think.
Roll call, please. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Helmers? Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. Ward?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Now we can give second and third considerations.
Waive your second and third considerations. Vote on that. So you're waiving your second and third considerations.
This vote is in place of second and third considerations.
We were voting to waive those second and third considerations.
Is there a motion for that, or?
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, right?
I'm here.
Ed?
Here.
Jerry?
Yep.
Leroy? Yep. Here. The agenda for today, discussion or interest in approving that?
Any changes to it? I'll make a motion on the agenda.
Schulman, support from the floor, to approve today's agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Let's look at our minutes from last week, on the 17th. Approval of the minutes. Motion from the board.
Second.
Offers support. Motion support to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Item will be identify to discuss waiving second and third reading and prior approval requirement of ordinance number 53, regulation regarding off-highway vehicles. Discuss and consider regulation regarding off-highway vehicle ordinance. Mr. McGowan, you offered an email shortly after our last meeting. Would you like to offer some suggestions or?
So, thank you. I got that email, and I guess I just didn't know that we were going to be acting on it, so I figured because ordinance passage requires a specific process, that we should go ahead and out of an abundance of caution, or actually just really doing our due diligence, restart the process, go ahead and pass it in the form that it's required to. So to pass an ordinance, there's several different ways you can go about it. I requested some guidance from the Attorney General's office on the most efficient way to go about it, because it was clear that everybody was pretty much done discussing this and wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. The process we're using is not the one that you normally would like to use as a rule, okay? Because of the way Iowa code is written, the default is that there are multiple readings and multiple considerations of an ordinance before it is finally passed. The procedure we are going to use, and we have set up to use, allows us to bypass these concerns, these procedural safeguards. The reason we're comfortable in doing that is because we've already discussed this issue. It seems like there's a majority on the board that is going to vote for it in the substantially final form, or the final form it is now in. We have had several discussions about ATV ordinances, and it appears there's a majority in favor of doing this, of allowing this. So the way that we've done this is, in order to have it passed at one meeting, you have to publish, according to the requirements in Iowa code, not less than 4, not more than 20 days before considering this. That has been done. It is in the paper, in this form. Then, at a meeting, you must waive the second and third readings by a majority vote of the board, because 3 readings are typically required of an ordinance. In other words, you, the supervisors, have to look at it, read it, think about it, and then the next step is that normally there are 3 considerations where it has to be voted on 3 times. This can also be waived. The procedure we're going to use today, if you gentlemen care to pass this, would be that since we've already noticed it up, or that's how we would say it, or we've posted it, published it, we've got that requirement taken care of. You are reading it now, you are sitting here reading it. You don't have to sit there and read it out loud, but this is your first reading. After you've had a chance to read it, if you'd like to waive via a majority vote the second and third readings of that ordinance, then you can do that. And then after you've done that, if you are still of the opinion that you'd like to pass this ordinance, you can then vote on it. And after you vote on it or consider it, as the code mentions, then you can waive your second and third considerations of it. If you do that, since the ordinance states it is effective upon publication, then we will publish the passed ordinance and we will be done with it. And that will be an ordinance that is now law in the county. Okay? Y'all can look at it and discuss it amongst yourselves. I would like to kind of just go through what changes I've made before we kind of start really considering it, just to point those out. When the board acted on this last time, again, I wasn't surprised at the fact that we were actually going to be voting on it. I don't know if there was some miscommunication there. If that was on me, then I apologize. Otherwise, it's the sort of thing that happens, but that ordinance at that point was in what I would consider to be draft form. I was pretty comfortable with it, but I wasn't ready to go ahead and publish it and pass it. So there were a few things in there that I wanted to change. There were some formatting issues, make sure some section numbers matched up. I also added a few things. So just to go quickly through what I've added and changed. Just in order, I added a little section under section 2 definitions that basically says that these definitions are supposed to be the same thing that are in Iowa code. Making sure those definitions match up is the easiest way to make sure that there's no confusion as to what we meant when it comes time to enforce this ordinance. I'd also make sure that if those definitions are updated in the future by Iowa code, then we don't need to come back and update this again. Just because that section of the Iowa code is one of the ones that changes the most often. Next, we have under D, in section 4 restrictions, once again, that section 321.384, that's the part of the code that describes the requirement for headlights. Again, we just want to make sure we got everything matched up. 2, under restrictions here, section 4 sub 2, this is something that Jason had mentioned, and this is something that I went ahead and looked at again, and I know that, there's a discussion on this, and I went ahead and added in the language about a valid permit to carry weapons, so that no one's rights to carry a firearm while on an ATV, OHV, etc. are infringed upon, and simply added in that sentence as well, said permit to carry weapons shall be kept on the physical person or in the possession of the operator, and shall be displayed to law enforcement officers upon valid request. That's in there just to make sure we don't even get into some situation where somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing while carrying a firearm, well on an OHV, and then we get into a situation where there's a question as to whether they are required to have that permit on them, or there's some overlap. I don't think that's likely, but I just wanted that in there. We've got the sentence from there about a non-ambulatory person, just to make sure that we don't have any issues with handicapped folks not being able to use an OHV, etc. Going down further, and then we have exempt vehicles there. That's your farm section. I did not change that. We have age restrictions. That's just to allow somebody under the age of 18 who's taken the proper class to operate one. A saving clause is basically to say, hey, if part of this is unconstitutional, invalid, or a court otherwise throws it out, the rest of it isn't necessarily the same. A repealer, that's just a kind of a catch-all in case there's something in the ordinances that previously might conflict or be seen as conflict that will be superseded by this. They're repealed. And that's pretty much all I've got. I also changed the title of this ordinance to off-highway vehicle, because off-highway vehicle is a catch-all term that catches and describes ATVs, off-highway vehicles, etc. So it covers three-wheelers, four-wheelers, gators, etc. All those things that fall within those definitions you see there. So with that, that's kind of my spiel on kind of the basics of what we're here to do today. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
And since the action taken at our previous meeting accomplished nothing or does nothing, this is restarting the process.
I agree. Legally speaking, what happened at the last meeting is not an effective action of this board. It did not pass or create an enforceable ordinance. And I realize that kind of from the point of view of this board, a lot of what we're doing here is taking an action that allows people to have freedom to do something that they've already been doing, and freedom to do something that they want to do. I think that's important. From my point of view as the county's chief law enforcement official and its legal representative, I wanted this ordinance to be drawn up in a way that if something bad were to happen, and frankly, when something bad happens, we'll have an enforceable ordinance if somebody is acting in violation of it. They just had a fatality over a line that involved one of these vehicles. Really sad story, and I don't know what is or is going to happen, if anything's going to happen there, but it's just a reminder that when we pass ordinances like this, we want to make sure we have our I's dotted and our T's crossed. So,
This thing that just jumped out at me is the approval we gave didn't have these changes, and what was published has these changes.
right. So you do need to approve it.
Considering waiving readings, it would be on the language that he just covered, because that's how it was published. It's different between what was previously considered.
Thank you for pointing that out.
So first consideration, if interested, would be to discuss or to waive second and third readings and prior approval requirements of the ordinance.
Yeah, and I would suggest that you waive the second and third readings and then consider it, vote on it, and then waive your second and third considerations.
So vote on the ordinance first and then wait for considerations to the meeting.
Vote on the readings, or, yeah, vote on waiving the readings, vote on the ordinance, then vote on the second and third considerations of it.
By definition, the second and third readings would need to be at separate meetings, so we're waiving it, that it needs to be the second and third. Separate meetings, but we still have to vote.
Yes.
Or give approval to the second and third reading, even if we waive
Do that
different meetings.
before we vote on the ordinance, we do that.
That's what,
Waiving
sorry,
the process, you considering it in different meetings. With that vote, we're not voting on the ordinance, we're waiving the process of considering it in different meetings.
correct, correct. That's my impression.
I make a motion to waive those.
Support. Jones offers a motion, and Mr. Helmers offers support to waive the second and third reading requirements. Does that also include prior approval requirements, or we're giving that?
That's the next one.
Okay.
Or you, then you vote on the
Further discussion concerning the waiving of the second and third readings. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Next, we would give initial consideration of the ordinance that was already published.
And in effect, this will be your vote on the ordinance.
I make a motion to approve that ordinance.
Support. Consideration of ordinance number 53 as presented as published. Further discussion? Ordinance required roll call or just resolution?
Resolutions, I think.
Roll call. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Helmers? Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. Ward? And I vote aye. Now we can give second and third considerations.
Waive your second and third considerations. Vote on it. So you're waiving your second and third considerations.
This vote is in place of second and third considerations.
We're voting to waive those second and third considerations.
Should we do another motion for that, or?
I would suggest it.
published, and upon publication, it will be
It is effective.
enforced.
Yep,
I have to publish this again then.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. Again, this process is a little more condensed than the one we usually use, I believe. It's been a while since we passed it.
I'll make the motion.
Shelby and Mr. Good for second and third consideration waiving, which is also voting for the ordinance the second and third time.
Yes.
Any further discussion on that item? Is our clerk clear?
So? I think so.
All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Aye. There's nothing that we need to do to consider the regulations regarding off-highway vehicle ordinance in addition to that.
No.
It just needs to be published, and upon publication, it will be
It is effective.
enforced.
Yep,
I have to publish this again then.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. Again, this process is a little more condensed than the one we usually use, I believe. It's been a while since we passed an ordinance, but I found an Iowa Attorney General's office opinion from 20-something years ago that describes that this process is not the one that we are normally to use. I think that this is the process that we can use in this case because we want to get it done and we have given the public a chance to look at it. So I think we're good to go here. Thanks for your patience, everyone.
Thank you.
All righty, I'll see you all later.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
9 o'clock was the time identified for budget amendment public hearing. On that, we would consider resolution number 7 concerning that budget hearing. Anything you gentlemen want to say or do before I open the public hearing? This time I'll ask if we've received any written comments concerning the public hearing. Okay, I will open it up to the public for comments. Hearing none. Don't think I'm aware that there are none, do you? So we'll close the public hearing portion. We want to give consideration to resolution number 7, 1920, for the budget amendment.
Mike? Maybe in red.
Make the motion on resolution 7/19/20, budget amendment.
Motion from Schultz, is there support for resolution number 7? Support. Motion and support, any further discussion concerning the budget amendments for resolution? Hearing none, I'll ask Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Helmers? Aye. Mr. DeVore?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
I vote aye. Going back now to pay estimate for Tyler Hammond project, from Midwest Contracting LLC.
idea, we haven't,
It's just a bit over.
this bill, yeah, paving, we still haven't started paving yet, right?
No, I know that.
Yeah. I think we're done, supposed to be done with this one, I hope.
I thought he was done, is what Aaron was saying.
That's why.
With 5% retainage that's there.
I didn't say that yet, yeah. Aaron, I showed this to Aaron, and he's the one that gave it to me, so he approved it, he said the work has been done. Have they started paving, or?
There's a couple pieces sitting there.
Got it.
This is the previous contract.
Yeah.
And approving the pay estimate request. Schulte? Motion support. Further wait for further review there, Jerry?
Well, there's just a couple of things here. The geo grid on the second page was bid at like $1,250 and come in at $33,000. I guess I'm not sure. 33,772. I mean, how could it be off $30,000? I'm just looking at anything that stands out. Number 7. GeoGrid.
Call Aaron if you'd like. My thought on that would be is we put out bid specs, assuming that this much GeoGrid would be necessary. When they got into the work, realized they don't even know what GeoGrid is.
That's why I'm not
So,
sure.
I'm saying, under a project like that, that's likely what's gonna be needed, once they get into that situation and realize it's beyond that, it's within the scope of change orders that they have the authorization for, that'd be.
There's some things that came in under, but that one just caught my eye, it's way out of whack.
I talked to Aaron this morning, he said that they, even with, once the retainage is paid and we're done, they will be over the initial bid, but it was not as much as he could have foreseen happening. He's pretty pleased it should be within that 5% retainage.
Did you say how much more?
Well, we've got that 5% of 60,000, and we're within 6,000 or so of the total bid price, so he said it should be under that 6,000, 60 that's, yeah.
I didn't ask him afterwards, so, because it's that day, I'm gonna pay it.
That was that one, or you, yeah?
And I'm just assuming like on this, several of them, stone, and granting or somebody's kind of back too, because they just needed more than they thought.
It ends up being a bunch of soft spots in that south pile.
I'm not sure. But if they're within, pretty close, I guess.
With a motion and support to approve the pay estimate, do we have further discussion? Okay, we can call on the vote. All those in favor, signify with aye. All those opposed, same sign. That will abstain. Okay, Class C liquor license permit, JRJ Hospitality Group LLC.
I'll make a motion.
They're just in JRJ, so I didn't have conflict.
We could,
All those in favor of approval, signify with aye.
I,
Those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, aye. Next is the resolution number 8. Looking at identifying county operating funds, annual consideration, correct, based on revenues and expenditures.
That's the JRJ, liquor license.
So we're on resolution number 8.
Yeah.
8. I make a motion to approve resolution number 8, JRJ thing.
Motion to approve resolution 8, identifying county operating funds. And support for approval of resolution number 8 for consideration.
Support.
stop sign, I've had several people call me, and that stop sign on Tyler Avenue, and what is it, 160th or something? Were we gonna do that, do a four-way stop there? You remember this one?
For first quarter.
And keep it that way?
No, then in time, people used to stop and sort of most.
I don't think we put a time frame on it, we just identified that it
I've
could
got
be
some
altered.
concerns that we should leave it a four-way stop. And then maybe it needs to be on the,
We can look at the action we took, if you would.
because
That's my recollection, is that we were going
Yeah.
to just do it,
That's
if
what
it
I-
needed to be changed, we could change it.
that's what I thought, and there were several Pennsylvania people call me on that.
Favor.
They're concerned because of, the shooting range and the kids driving out there and, people, many people east of town are concerned, and,
I've been asked about it too.
you know, so, something we might have to consider later on.
That'd be something to get used to.
Just like these stop signs on 822 right on the edge of town. It's amazing how many people run those.
It's been a long time, but I mean, now I think it's pretty good.
And you know, when they did it, I hated it, but I think it's what they,
It's a good deal, I think.
Yeah, so from now,
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I still don't like it.
No, I think it's a good thing.
it's gonna happen like it.
Yeah. Or pay
I
the
think it's
price.
for a long term.
Because it's surprising how many kids walk across there.
Well, it's even now, when they, I don't even know if it's a legal stop sign, but they put a stop sign on Main Street in Mountain.
That one on, sitting in the middle.
Yeah, it's a 55-gallon barrel, but it has slowed people down, and it's points.
And, you know, we had these two lots out here in North Fork that should be, there are a lot of weeds that should be taken care of. But Dean Ackerman said that we don't really have a way to get to it. There's a ditch all the way along in front of it. And he said he really can't go through there with his equipment. Right now, he said he can get around the back as long as it's, Snap-on guy doesn't have his lawn done, but I think we're gonna need a driveway or a temporary driveway or something in there, or just something to make it a little easier to get in and out of there. And then he was also talking like next year maybe sow it in oats or something to make it a little more presentable.
Yeah, that would be a bad idea.
We'll talk to Eric actually, if he has to see if, so we need a driveway for the rest of the
But we did put them
I'm
some.
glad that you have to put a culvert in there.
And next week, we have to meet at 1 o'clock on the 30th, on Monday at 1 o'clock. That's a bond sale for that. Bond sales from 10 until 10:30. The time she gets all her paperwork done, the earliest we can meet is 1, so that's what we're having.
Everybody remembers.
I'll put a little time thing on it, time change.
Better put that thing for me to see.
I want to see
And-
any old crap.
And on Monday, not Tuesday.
Yeah.
after hours.
Yeah, that's been asked before.
Oh, okay.
Him and Gloria both do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering.
Those are only after, if they come in after hours.
If they're there, they'll charge you.
That's what they tell us.
Tesla share, how many batteries do you need?
Well, if they just bought a digital inverter for the car, they shouldn't need more batteries, right?
I wouldn't think so.
What is that?
From what I can figure out here, it looks kind of something like. It goes from 12 volt DC to 120, like $34 to plug it in your cigarette lighter, and then it converts it over to 120, so you can plug it in your laptop or whatever you're doing.
Convincible.
Conservation electric might have a deal, I suppose that helped too.
I think, how much does Owen say a year?
I was just curious.
I know he said he had savings, I don't know what it is for sure. That's been a while ago.
Especially I know,
But it-
well, did that, I know it's gonna take a lot of years to get the money. Should ask Jeff sometime how that's working out there, what percentage it's running.
Yeah.
You see that veterans affair, my brother-in-law went on that trip Saturday. As he pumped, oh boy,
Are we going from Oakville to?
it was 4. But he did, I like to sit out in the garage when I grill, and, boy, and he never stops and visits. Last night he did, and boy, I heard about the whole trip, which is neat.
We tried to get Lindsay's dad to take it, he won't. He won't do it.
Well, I wonder why, because boy, the way Gerald was talking, that's a trip of a lifetime.
It's cool.
Yeah,
He thinks it'll be too much for him.
they go, oh, cheers. Yeah, he was, well, I got to hear the whole, whole spiel.
That was Vietnam, right? That's going out or trying to get
Yeah.
out.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him that excited.
It's good, it's a good deal.
Yep.
We took a close look at Sioux Falls too.
Yeah.
Smithfield Food Store, they took $25,000.
I guess I didn't realize the pilots, the co-pilots, and the stewardess and stuff, they cut their wage way down to no longer. That's what I heard anyway. But
Should have had Nick come in sooner, I didn't think we could get through all this.
that's a pretty nice deal that the Freedom got the other night too, wasn't it? That was the first time I never stopped there to look at it.
Dedication that day.
See, I was out of town.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Burns hot.
Yeah,
So is that what it is?
yeah.
Very few that have power on them,
Yeah.
you know. Maybe you don't know, yeah, I think we thought that like Market, that wasn't,
It was,
George isn't.
he said it was the only one, yeah, that's not, other people had like wooden,
What did you say, that was strong enough to hold a helicopter?
Yeah.
Set that up there, so,
they're looking for a helicopter,
yeah.
on top of it.
I think that's kind of neat.
So what kind of you pay, so you'll take out the helicopter?
Yeah. I think that's what kind of sharp up there. Yeah, very nice business. But one kid, he started his business when he was 12 years old. And still doing well. Can I make a comment? You know, every month you look at the number, what it takes every month.
I know.
It just amazes me.
This is something about school.
Yeah, I can't do it. Oh, my own operation, I teach me where that money come from. Very happy to see that number getting up to where, because we struggled with it for a lot of years. I just said that number for,
Yeah.
that's for, well, there was years that wasn't even, wasn't good.
Zero?
Because what was it, when we down just over 100,000 one time?
This is budget for next week, so we'll see what the state's changing on our budget for 2021. Oh, later. Deadline for the season on March 31st.
You know, I know it's still right, so I'm not.
That's what I'm hearing, I was trying to do those, that,
When Taylor and I came on board, that's what it's about 100,000. That's scary.
Pretty tense.
Yeah.
Next drainage meeting?
The 8th, we got public hearing,
October 8th.
having it at 8:30. In the morning,
Okay, that's our normal meeting day.
yeah, we just have it before the regular meeting.
What's the meeting on the 30th for?
The bond sale. Taking bids that morning.
I wonder if they've done that and never ever, nobody ever did. I wonder if that's ever happened.
Yeah, what happens then?
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't wanna think I wanna know.
what's that big chair? That guy in the gun. You Mosey on him? There you have a Mosey. Got rid of the small actions that previously been taken. I've got 9:30, we've got an item that Nick had brought to my attention the other day, and I thought we'd put it on here and discuss it. Actually, I don't remember the drainage district. It's all 64, I think. District 64 has a beaver dam that's impeding the outlet or the effectiveness of that district. Passion, you want to share, or?
We got a phone call a week ago, or last week, some guy was complaining about a beaver dam up near the trail over in Fairview Township, section 33. So I went over to go look at it, and it happens that the conservation board, Flat County, has a little piece of property over there right off the trail. And I thought, well, maybe this is a conservation board issue. We are responsible for that management. One of them looked, and it is not a conservation board issue. The beaver dam is on private property, just a little bit farther to be to the west of that. So I did some looking just to try and give this guy some options, and it looks like it's in an open ditch, which I believe to be a facility of a drainage district. So then I raised the question, well, as supervisors, you guys are the overseers, I guess, of all the drainage districts.
The default.
Okay. So, I guess, is it okay for the drainage district to pay for the trapping and or removal of the obstruction? So, I know we had talked about it earlier, and there is a bounty that we have on beavers. That's only good during the trapping season, which does not start till November, I believe, the first Saturday in November.
Since it's 64?
Yeah. And I checked with Carol, and it is an active drainage district, because there is money, I guess, available for that drainage district.
But is that part of the facilities that's plugged up?
I would say so. I mean, I believe the open ditch would be a facility of the drainage district, the way it would look to me. But I'm not an engineer or the drainage district professional, I guess.
I guess as long as it shows up on the map as a facility of the district, you'd be responsible to clean it out to keep the flow going. If it's not, part of the main of the lateral, to build it, and it falls into that.
So, and the map of 64 is very, very old.
Is it an established district? Because there's some of those up there that are on there that aren't established districts.
Okay, well, there's money available for it.
Because boy, 64 isn't very big.
As I looked through it, I did not read all of the drainage district code. This one, 468-138, talks about removal of obstructions. Any district, remove any obstruction which interferes with the flow of water, including trees, hedges, shrubberies, roots, that may cause any tile damage or tile drain, so
Basically,
so you can remove it, but it doesn't necessarily give us the authority to address the environment creating.
so we could remove the dam, but can't really do anything about the beaver because it's out of season anyway.
Well, there's that program, the nuisance wildlife control operators can come in through the Iowa DNR, the people that have been licensed through the Iowa DNR can come in for a fee. And I think we had discussed that back in April, maybe.
With private property.
Yep. Yep. But there's a fee associated with that. So that was, I guess, my next question is, can the drainage districts pay for that fee? Or is that the responsibility of the landowners?
Well, they're still paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a trustee of the district, I would be content with paying that fee because it's going to eliminate future removal costs.
Because you can have somebody, you can have somebody come in and take care of your beaver dam, but if you don't take care of the beaver, it's gonna be back.
Yeah.
But relatively short.
But I don't see where the code allows us to address the cause other than trees and roots, and I don't think this situation, or the ones using the trees are addressing code to be something to address. I guess my thought would be, I'd be okay with authorizing removing the obstruction currently, and it's clearly within it. I would like to see us further investigate and get legal counsel on whether we can address trapping the beavers, and I'm content with district paying that cost if it's allowed. I think our ordinance maybe gives us some strength to use that if we're saying other people can do it. I would hope
We
so.
don't have a bounty on it, do we?
There is, it's $15, I believe.
So
But the
we're
problem,
about a month away from traffic.
yeah, the problem with that bounty is that, it was only allowed, it only allowed people who are registered trappers to collect the bounty. And of the people that signed the paper, 2 of them are now deceased, for sure. So it might be something that, I don't know if we need to advertise that we're authorizing registered trappers, or if we open it up to anybody that would like to participate in the removal of beavers. I mean, that's the best time to do it, is during the actual trapping season. And if we would sweeten the pot a little bit for it and make it maybe a little bit more worth our while, we could try and curtail the problems that we're having a little bit.
That registry is just a local registry, or it doesn't extend to those that work with the DNR, you know, that kind of
I don't think so. I think it was just a local, there was 2 registered trappers for either side of the county. So, and that's something that can be addressed too, I guess.
We need a motion to remove the obstruction.
That's the cost of the drainage district. I guess I would ask that the motion approve the removal and further investigation and subsequent approval if legal.
It's a stupid question. Do you have to have a special meeting as that district in order to approve some of this stuff?
You know, minor stuff like that, I think you can get by with it.
You've had other people who shall remove beaver dams and shit.
Yeah, we've never had, they just done it in Senville through the drainage district repeated.
Under repairs and stuff, I think we have the authority, when it becomes necessary, it's the next section, the board shall cause to be removed from ditches. 138, so.
So do we have to have the minutes that we convened as the trustees for Drainage District 64 to make a approval? I guess was my question.
We never had in the past, I know of.
I didn't know because
Well, I think it'd be good to have the minutes reflect that, the board as trustees of the District 64.
I'd make a motion to approve the obstruction and consult with the county attorney on where beaver removal fits into,
County attorney or the drainage district?
or the drainage attorney, as to where beavers fit into the removal process, or what we can take out.
And as far as authorizing them to proceed with that, if the attorney gives the
Yep.
thumbs up, green light?
Yeah, he gives them the green light to go on a beaver trapping spree, then I would say go ahead with that as well.
Motion from Mr. Jones, we all clearly understand, okay? Support for that motion. Or offer support, any further discussion? Does that adequately address or?
Yeah, I guess.
Down the road that would answer your questions?
So do we want me to line up the contract, take the, or do you want me to say this
we've heard that it is allowed.
Well, they can take the construction out.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, okay. No, that's fine, I can do that.
Shouldn't be
And there's-
expensive,
I guess it'd be nothing stopping the landowner from,
do it himself.
yeah,
Yep.
trapping the beavers separately from the district, but this would be an option. Sure you're good?
I believe so.
If this will pass it?
What do you think the dollar amount is on that, to remove that dam,
To remove it,
get it, ballpark it?
I think you can get somebody in there for $150.
Couple $100.
Stick a dynamite?
If they do too.
If they can get to it. That's how the Bearcat get into it, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
The problem is gonna be that the affected landowner is different than the guy that owns the property.
We have a motion and support to remove the obstruction and proceed further with addressing the beaver issue. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And then along with that, you said the registered trappers are minimal or non-existent. I think it'd be good to update that list and make sure we have someone available, since we say that's who's supposed to be used. Where does that cost?
Well, if we're gonna put a boundary. Otherwise, it doesn't make any difference. Anybody can trap them in traffic season.
Yep. Yep, they just are not eligible, the way it's written, they're not eligible for the $15 per animal bounty.
Right, but we currently have an ordinance in place that says we have a bounty of $15 and that they have to use registered, we should provide registered names if they want to go ahead and take advantage of that. I agree with you, Jerry, you go ahead and do it and not seek the bounty, but
It just seems, I don't know, to me, I would either personally open the bounty up to everybody, if they have a way of proving that it came from such and such drainage district, which is gonna be hard. Or
You won't get that many anyway, because there's not that many traffic.
there's not, and the thing is, like, I mean, FER's really not working anything, so if you up the ante a little bit, you know, I'm not saying it's gotta be a lot, $25 or something, it'll at least pay for their gas, to go check their trash.
Yeah.
So,
you would just,
I don't think we're not getting rid of the red thing for beaver.
Came up with a beaver cooking recipe program or something. Draw a little attention
Well,
to
it's
it.
getting to be a bigger problem in the whole country.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and to have a bounty out there to remove someone would be a good thing.
Yeah, and we talked about that too, just privately, it's just, there's no trappers out there anymore.
But then, like you say, make sure they have proof where they came from.
I agree with you.
so that was an ordinance, wasn't it? It's a resolution to establish a bounty.
I think it's been probably a resolution, it was done long before I got here, and I think since I've been here 9 years, I've been responsible to figure it out one time.
Really getting minimal for that.
Well, bounties generally aren't a good thing, like, it's not turned out well for a lot of people. But
That consideration of amending or altering that on a future agenda, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next week, or we can, another 8, or
We used to have a bounty on gophers, evidently.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, there must be an ordinance book or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Gophers. The one that comes to my mind is Pastor Vision, their house. All right, sir.
Thanks,
Have a great day.
Thank you.
You too. Well. Claims. Claim number 483 is Boston Water Service.
Motion pay 43,
Seeing none, Bill, any further discussion on approval of claim 483? Motion by Jones, support from DeBoer. All those in favor, signify with aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Motion pay the rest.
Jones has a motion to pay the remainder of the claims. Supported by Mr. Schulte. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Claims approved.
Okay, 9 and 43 is it.
Okay. Other business report?
Anything back on the bids for the building, for the building?
I haven't been,
No.
no one's called, no one's asked, no one's picked up the bed, nothing. Yeah.
Any further, gentlemen? Stand adjourned. Motion by Jones, support from Helmers. Further discussion? All those in favor, signify with aye.